having me here today. Are the words that you use, are people hearing those words the way you intended? Are you communicating effectively that what you say is resonating with that person and they're actually hearing it and acting on what you are saying? Or is there a disconnect? Have you ever had a disconnect where you thought you said something and it wasn't acted upon the way you intended? I think that happens a lot of times. I think the words we use to effectively communicate can take us to places that we didn't know we could get to if it's heard the way we intend them to be heard, those words. You know, I want to talk about a couple of things on the personal side and a couple of things on the business side about communication. Communicating effectively. You know, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion it has taken place. That's George Bernard Shaw quote. And I think that ideally states what we believe we're saying is what we think people are hearing. Go back to your childhood and think about, and it happens to me on a weekly basis with my children. I want you to go clean your room. I want you to go clean your room. What does that mean exactly? I want you to go clean your room. And my kids will hem and haw. Eventually they'll go into their room and they'll clean their room. An hour later I walk by their room, I look inside. What are the words out of my mouth? I thought I told you to clean your room. What do they respond with? I did clean my room. Where is the disconnect? Where is the disconnect? The disconnect is in the definition of what does it mean to clean your room. What does it actually mean? What does a clean room mean to you? What it means to me and means to you may be different. Does it mean that only the dirty clothes get picked off the floor and the clean clothes can stay on? Does it mean that the bed has to be made? Does it mean that the sheet should be changed? Does it mean it has to be vacuumed? Does it mean that the countertop of the dresser and the bedside table need to be cleaned or straightened? You know, you can work around that problem. It's easy to work around the problem. I blame myself. I blame the parents. Why? Because I'm not communicating effectively. I am not giving them a list of exactly what I mean is a clean room. And I tell people that, you know, bring your children into the discussion. Let's have a discussion of what we think a clean room is. Let's get together and have a consensus. There are two things that does. One, we have a definition of what a clean room is. Two, I have buy-in. My kids know now what a clean room is. And they've helped with the rules and the procedures. So if that room isn't clean the way it should be, the way is it intended, well, now we have a consequence for that. We can deal with that. Think about relationships. Let's talk about a husband and wife. Let's talk about a wife in the kitchen and the husband in the living room. And the wife yells out, "Honey, can you take out the garbage?" What is the answer? Yes. Yes. Now, when is that person going to take out the garbage is the question. The question was answered. Can you take out the garbage? Absolutely, all day long. But when is the question? So what happens? 10 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by, an hour goes by. There starts to build resentment on the individual in the kitchen. You know, I asked to take out this garbage and he hasn't done it yet. What's wrong? And someone will sneak by, look inside. There he is, still sitting in that chair. They walk back and they're getting upset. They're getting upset. 2 hours later, the man gets up, takes out the garbage. His wife is upstairs in the bedroom. He comes upstairs. She's distant. She's not talking to him. She's mad. She's upset. And he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why. Whose fault is that? It was the inability to effectively communicate that caused that rift. Now these are personal sides, and that can be fixed. Honey, can you take out the garbage for me now because I need to put a new bag in and throw some more stuff away? I need it done now. I mean, that effectively communicates what needs to be done. And that's the personal side. In business, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Think about a meeting. Think about going to a meeting. This happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I set an appointment up. Meeting 10 o'clock. What exactly does that mean? 10 o'clock meeting. Does that mean for some people that you show up at 10 o'clock? And you get your coffee and you go to the bathroom and the meeting starts at 10:10 or 10:15? For me, it means I get there 10 or 15 minutes early. And I get myself prepared. And I get my seat. And I wait. Because I want the meeting to start at 10 o'clock. But why doesn't it work that way? Did I not communicate effectively what I wanted to do at that meeting? Sometimes no. It's implied. And what happens in a lot of implied communication is that resentment builds. A lot of times, we think we said something that should have resonated with that person. We believe we made our point, but we never came out and truly communicated what we wanted to say. It happens all the time in business. A lot of times, people do not say what they mean. My favorite people are the ones who come up to me and say, "You have something in your teeth." Those are the people I like. They're the ones who are up front. They communicate honestly. I'm sure we've all been in that position where you're standing, you're having conversations, you're talking, you go to the bathroom an hour later, and you look in the mirror, and you go, "Oh my God, I've had that whole time. I've talked with 3 people." There's nothing wrong with communicating effectively. It's empowering. It lets people know where you stand. It gives people credibility by communicating effectively. And it takes work to communicate effectively. I practice my communication skills all the time. I hope I resonate with people. I come here to practice. I like to give just little tidbits of information that I hope that you can use in your lives. Another thing about effectively communicating is to effectively communicate, we must realize we are all different in the way we perceive the world and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others. We are all different. That's an Anthony Robbins quote. We are all different. And what may work for me in communicating to you may not be the way I should be communicating to you. We have to think about that. We have to perceive that, be perceptive. You know, take advantage of every opportunity that you have to practice your communication skills. So when important occasions arise, you will have the gift, the style, the clarity, the sharpness, and emotions to affect other people. That's a Jim Rome quote. And it's very important to practice that. It's very important to define your message with clarity, be concise. Because if you think you said it, and it's not done the way you think you said it, you shouldn't get upset. You shouldn't have resentment. You have to work on your communication skills. And that will take you to places you didn't know you could go. Thank you very much for your time.